Hello, my name is Mark Madden, and this is a conference presentation on cloud development. So I just want to start by saying good afternoon. And the purpose of this presentation is to articulate the intricacies of cloud development. This presentation is especially for anyone who feels that they are technically trained or not technically trained. So I'm going to start off with containerization, which in this slide consists of 6 models, starting with map environment, which shows the physical and virtual and different cloud servers that migrate to the cloud. And then it also consists of application migration service, which expedites and then uncomplicates migration by changing services. It also consists of an installing agent that positions the replication agent on the user source servers and then replicates to AWS, continuing standardized business operations with servicers that are being duplicated. There also are performing tests which continue out the undisturbed test before the cutover, and that cutover is set in motion by AWS. They're made to be like an answer to the situational problem that comprises operating system software successfully. A container is composed of a complete running time domain, which includes a modern application. That environment contains every single dependency, database, and other duplicate involved. It also contains multiple arrangements of files needed to compile it and load it into one secure holding. When transporting from one electron environment to the next, many parts are always taken for the application itself, but they also include basic dependencies differences in operating systems distributions and underlying infrastructures. When interpreting the value of Docker Compose is very capable of being able to function in many different environments that include production, staging, development, and testing, which completes continuous integration workflow. In the process of taking advantage of these services, Dockerfile can then be managed and recreated from multiple placements, which also gives the ability to be compiled together in an isolating setting. This helps the user be able to begin and conclude with the services necessary, and the overall commands begin and are executed completely. In having an S3 storage and comparing it to local storage, it basically starts out by explaining S3, which is an acronym for Simple Storage Service. It is an object storage service that relates scalability, data availability, security, and performance for users. Amazon S3 just gives off high management capabilities so that users can develop, organize, and arrange complete access to different forms of data, which meet specific requirements to the user. Cloud local storage is the process of reserving digital data in network space, and they have several servers and different locations. In having this local storage, users are allowed to retain digital data on the physical storage devices, such as hard disk drives, solid-state drives, or external storage devices. It being serverless, that explanation is the technology feature automatic scaling that is built in high availability, and a pay-freeze building model increases agility. It also helps with costs and infrastructure management tasks like the capability provisioning and patching so you, the user, can focus on writing the code that you're trying to deliver to your customers. Talking more in the serverless cloud with API and Lambda, the advantage of using a service cloud is lower cost, automatic scaling, and built-in service integrations. Lambda basically allows the ability to run specific code on an open quantifying framework and then administrates all the different resources, including online servers, operating system consistency, scaling management with code surveillance, and open access. So, with the power vested in AWS, any user or programmer can implement the code for any type of named application with backend control as long as the languages that Lambda enforces are utilized with the user, such as scripts like Java, Go, PowerShell, Node.js, C#, Python, and others. These steps are going to be needed to put together the front and the back end and are for the user to choose the receiver. Then the user chooses the connect branch on the add repository branch for recent updated repositories. In the data model differences between MongoDB and DynamoDB, users can only use DynamoDB through AWS. Through that medium, DynamoDB has a much more diverse combination with other tools and services provided by AWS. And they also give the user a privilege of the downloadable version for testing and development, which launches these deployments that depend on AWS. In the Mongo engine, users can arrange the database to compile virtually all over in different areas, for example, either a basic container or many other environments that can deploy to any successful cloud providers. Just FYI, multiple DynamoDB queries were used for web applications to store this information. As a reminder, the scripts produced were of Lambda functions given, which contained DynamoDB queries written in Node.js. Therefore, in using the DynamoDB library, a connection to a DynamoDB table is made which information was updated and retrieved from. Here is an example on the next page. So as you can see, the API gateway would contain endpoints to trigger specific Lambda functions. It also defines the query through parameters, and the data is passed through the API. When it comes to cloud-based development principles, elasticity is the ability for users to achieve resources as they need them. The user can then give the resources when the users no longer have necessity for them. Pay-for-use models allow users to easily change to other business necessities without committing too much to financial budgets and bettering the user's responses to changes. When it comes to securing a cloud app and access, having unauthorized access prevention can be done through data encryption, which is inseparable data being stored in the cloud, making it unreadable. You can also utilize tokenization, which are different sequences of data that speak for personal and sensitive information. Users can also use data decomposition, which is reduction of data that says distinguishable elements that have no significance by themselves. Then finally, you can use the cyber deception defense, which is a basic deception architecture that helps mitigate extreme advancements on secure fence and also includes major traps for a lot of unauthorized personnel that think they made progress in getting in the site illegally, but actually have been taken to another controlled environment. In policies versus rules, the relationship between the roles and the policies is that a policy is an entity that when attached to an identity or resource, it defines their permissions. A role is an idea that creates in your account that has specific permissions as well. They do support each other, so therefore they must be combined and then custom policies will be created to access DynamoDB from the Lambda functions. In addition to having more API security, the connection between Lambda and Gateway is secured by authentication and authorization controls, whereas Lambda and the database is protected by AWS. AWS takes in charge of protecting the global infrastructure that runs all of the AWS cloud, and then AWS gives the user the opportunity to maintain control over their content, which is hosted on their infrastructure. Finally, the S3 bucket is secured by data encryption during transmission, and S3 goes by the standard HTTPS basis, which can mix up the data in transit going to and from Amazon S3. In conclusion, understanding cloud development involves being able to understand cloud-based development principles, being familiar in securing your cloud application, and being able to identify what parts of AWS can help create scalability and storage for data. Thank you so much for your time.